Sir, I need you to step down from the bus right now.
Officer, I'm fine. Look, it was just a mailbox. I
You've
swear.
been drinking this morning, sir?
No, I got a medical condition.
I can smell it on you. Turn
Man,
around,
please,
sir.
I got 22.
October 17th, 2024. Cedar Ridge Elementary School, Jefferson County, Georgia. 7:38 in the morning. 19 children are on that bus. The youngest is 5 years old. Nobody knows yet what is about to happen. The children are laughing, talking about a birthday party, pressing their faces against the cold glass windows. It is a Thursday morning like any other Thursday morning on Route 147. Except it is not, because the man behind the wheel has a blood alcohol level of 0.14, nearly twice the legal limit, and he has been driving these children to school for 11 months exactly like this. Marcus Dwayne Holloway, 22 years, 0 incidents. 3 generations of families trusted him with their children, and for 11 months, every single one of those children was in danger. This is not a story about a bad man. This is a story about a good man who made catastrophically wrong choices, about a system with a gap so wide that a school bus driver could drink every morning for nearly a year and nobody, not one person, ever stopped him, and about 19 children who had no idea that the man they called Mr. Marcus was keeping a notebook in his nightstand logging his doses. 2 shots, 3 shots, 4. Marcus Dwayne Holloway was born in 1972 in Albany, Georgia. His father drove long-haul trucks, gone for weeks at a time, home for days, then gone again. His mother worked in a school cafeteria for $4.15 an hour. Every morning, Marcus sat at his mother's kitchen window and watched the yellow school buses pass. The rhythm of them, the reliability, the way the whole neighborhood set their clocks by when that bus rounded the corner. He graduated from Albany High School in 1990. His options were limited. 3 weeks after graduation, he walked into an Army recruiting office and signed his name, Transportation Corps. They taught him to drive supply trucks through terrain that would make most civilian drivers quit. Desert Storm. 18 months in theater. He came home in 1994 with an honorable discharge and a skill set that did not translate easily to civilian life. He bounced between jobs, warehouse work, delivery routes, night shifts at a plastics factory that paid well but ground him down. Then, at a church cookout in 1995, he met Denise Williams. She was organizing the dessert table. He was flipping burgers. He asked for her number before she left. She made him wait 3 days before she called back. They married in October 1996. Small ceremony at Mount Zion Baptist Church. His mother cried. His father made it home from a haul. For 6 years after the wedding, Marcus worked whatever he could find. Nothing stuck. Nothing felt right. Then in March 2002, he saw a posting at the unemployment office. School bus drivers needed. CDL training provided. $14.50 an hour. The training evaluator wrote, natural behind the wheel. Patient. Excellent situational awareness. He was assigned Route 147. Cedar Ridge Elementary. April 15, 2002. He would drive that same route for 22 years. In 2007, his first safety award. 0 incidents in 5 years. In 2012, promoted to senior driver. In 2015, featured in the district newsletter as the heart of Route 147. Parents loved him. He sang happy birthday to every child on the bus. He kept granola bars under his seat for kids who missed breakfast. He knew every parent by name. He remembered which children had allergies, which ones needed extra time getting up the steps. Parents who had ridden his bus as children were now watching their own children climb those same steps. Mr. Marcus, that is what 3 generations of Cedar Ridge families called him. And then, February 2023. Denise went to the doctor for a persistent cough, stage 3 breast cancer. The diagnosis hit Marcus like a freight train. 31 years of marriage. The woman who had been his anchor through every storm, the medical bills arrived immediately. $47,000 out of pocket in the first 6 months. Marcus took out a second mortgage. He picked up weekend work driving charter buses. 14-hour Saturdays. 12-hour Sundays. Then back behind the wheel Monday at 5:15 in the morning. He could not sleep. He would lie awake listening to Denise breathe, Terrified each breath might be her last, the drinking started quietly. A shot of vodka before bed. Just to take the edge off. That is what he told himself. Just this once. Just to steady my nerves. Just to get through the day. Here is something most people do not know about school bus safety in America. Every morning, 26 million children board 480,000 yellow school buses. The school bus is statistically the safest way for a child to travel to school. But that safety depends entirely on one thing. The person behind the wheel. In Jefferson County, Georgia, bus routes began at 6:15 in the morning. Drivers arrived at the yard, clocked in using a keypad, conducted their own inspections, signed their own names. Self-reported, self-certified, self-regulated, there was no breathalyzer at the bus yard. No supervisor checking drivers as they clocked in. No mandatory testing before a morning route. Nothing standing between an impaired driver and a bus full of children, except the honor system. The gap was not hidden, that IT was structural, built into the system from the beginning, and Marcus Holloway found it, November 14, 2023. Denise had started chemotherapy 3 weeks earlier. The side effects were brutal. That Tuesday morning Marcus had held her through the worst of it at 3 o'clock in the morning, changed the sheets, cleaned her up, and sat in the dark kitchen waiting for his alarm. At 5 a.m., he looked at the vodka bottle. 2 shots. Mouthwash. Eye drops. Coffee. He drove Route 147. Picked up all 19 kids. Delivered them safely. Came home to find Denise asleep on the couch with a bucket beside her. He told himself, never again. One time only. By December, he was drinking every morning. He developed a system. The vodka went into a plastic water bottle in his lunchbox. Clear liquid. No smell if the cap stayed on. 2 shots at home in January. 3 shots by March. 4 shots by April. By July, he was drinking during his midday break between routes. By October 2024, he was drinking before, during, and after every shift. And no one stopped him. In February, a parent complained the bus arrived late 3 days in a row. Dispatchers chalked it up to traffic. In May, another driver mentioned Marcus seemed off, tired, distracted. The supervisor assumed it was stress from Denise's illness. They let it go. In August, a substitute driver found 3 empty airplane bottles under the seat. He threw them away. Did not report it. Did not want to get anyone in trouble. Nobody wanted to believe it about Marcus. He was Mr. Marcus. In his nightstand, a composition notebook. Denise's treatment schedule on the first pages. On later pages, his own doses. Times and amounts. 2 shots. 3 shots. 4. He had been keeping a diary of his own unraveling. October 17, 2024. Thursday. Marcus had been awake since 2:15 in the morning when Denise started vomiting from chemo. He cleaned her up. Changed the sheets. Sat in the dark kitchen and waited for the sun. At 5 a.m., he poured 4 shots of Smirnoff. More than usual. His hands were shaking badly. At 5:15 a.m., he arrived at the yard, no supervisor on duty yet. He clocked in. Conducted his own inspection. Everything marked satisfactory. At 6:15 a.m., first pickup. Magnolia Street. The Henderson twins. Maya and Marcus Jr., 6 years old. They climbed the steps chattering about a birthday party. Over the next hour, 7 more stops. 19 children total. Ages 5 to 11. Marcus kept the radio off. The noise bothered him. He was sweating through his yellow polo shirt despite the October chill. At 7:31 a.m., a teacher named Kesha Woodard pulled onto Ridgewood Lane behind bus 147. She was running late. Annoyed at the slow-moving bus ahead of her. Then she watched it drift across the center line. It corrected too sharply. Nearly clipped a parked car. Drifted left again. She dialed 911. I think the school bus driver might be having a medical emergency. He's swerving all over the road. There are kids on that bus. 7 minutes later, bus 147 turned into the Cedar Ridge Elementary parking lot. Marcus cut the wheel too wide. The front right corner of the bus struck a black mailbox, snapping the wooden post clean. The children screamed. Marcus sat frozen, both hands still on the wheel, staring through the windshield. Principal Vanessa Okafor saw the impact from the sidewalk. She dialed 911 immediately. 4 minutes later, 2 deputies arrived. Deputy Ryan Mercer approached the bus door. Deputy Thomas Vega began evacuating children from the rear emergency exit. Deputy Mercer was 6 feet from the door when the smell hit him. The field sobriety test took less than 3 minutes. Walk and turn, failed. One leg stand, failed. Horizontal gaze nystagmus, failed. The breathalyzer registered 0.14. Nearly twice the legal limit. At 7:47 in the morning, Marcus Dwayne Holloway was handcuffed on the steps of his own bus while 19 children watched from the sidewalk. 7-year-old Maya Henderson, her face pressed against the glass, tears streaming down her cheeks. Marcus saw her. He had driven her mother to school on this same route, in this same seat, 15 years earlier. His legs buckled. He caught himself on the handrail. Oh God! What have I done? Those were the last words he spoke before the handcuffs clicked. But investigators were only getting started. A search of his lunchbox produced the water bottle. Field tested positive for alcohol. In his garage, 14 empty vodka bottles. Bank records showed purchases at the Chevron 3 to 4 times per week since November 2023. Always between 4:45 and 5:10 in the morning. Text messages recovered from his phone, a conversation with his brother from September. How you holding up, man? Taking it one day at a time. Got my medicine. The doctor give you something? Nah. Self-prescribed. Don't. I got it under control. He did not have it under control. And then, the evidence that silenced the entire courtroom. A parent named Dwayne Caldwell had dashcam footage from October 3rd, 2 weeks before the crash. 14 seconds of video. It showed bus 147 drifting across the center line into the path of an oncoming pickup truck. The truck veered onto the shoulder. The bus corrected at the last moment, missing by less than 3 feet. 19 children on board. Marcus had never reported it. 14 seconds. It became the centerpiece of the prosecution's entire case. Because it proved, beyond any possible argument, that this had not been a single moment of weakness. This had been going on for months. And he had known it. The trial began February 10, 2025. 6 days. 14 witnesses. When the dashcam footage was played in the courtroom, 3 people in the gallery gasped. One mother stood up and walked out in tears. Marcus spent 90 minutes on the witness stand. He admitted everything. He described the sleepless nights, the shaking hands, the fear of losing Denise. He wept openly, his voice breaking repeatedly. He said he believed the alcohol helped him function. He said he thought he was protecting his family by staying at work. He said he knew it was wrong and he could not stop. It was the most honest he had been in 11 months. It was not enough. Tanya Henderson, mother of Maya, addressed the court before sentencing. Her voice was steady. Her eyes were dry. She had used up every tear she had. My children will not get on a school bus anymore. Maya has nightmares every week. She asks me every morning, what if the driver is sick? She is 7 years old. She should not have to ask that question. She should never have had to learn that question exists. The jury deliberated for 3 hours and 17 minutes. Guilty on all counts. Judge Patricia Harmon looked at Marcus Holloway before she delivered her sentence. She acknowledged 22 years of service. The letters from parents attesting to this character. The genuine grief of a man watching his wife fight for her life. She acknowledged all of it. And then she said, "You drove a 14-ton vehicle with 19 children inside while nearly twice the legal limit, repeatedly, over 11 months. You placed your need to cope above the lives of children who called you Mr. Marcus. The tragedy of your wife's illness explains your pain. It does not justify your choices. Nothing justifies those choices." 8 years in Georgia State Prison. Lifetime CDL revocation. $127,000 in restitution. Marcus Holloway is currently at Hayes State Prison in Tryon, Georgia, medium security. Eligible for parole in 2029. Denise visits once a month. Her cancer went into remission in June 2025. 14 families sued Jefferson County Schools. The district settled for $340,000, an implicit admission that their oversight had failed, that the gap in the system, no breathalyzer at the yard, no morning check-in, no one watching the person entrusted with 26 children every single day, had contributed to 11 months of danger that never needed to happen. The gap still exists in school districts across this country. This is not a story about a monster. This is a story about a man who was drowning, and who grabbed the wrong thing to stay afloat, and who nearly took 19 children down with him. It is a story about grief doing things to people that nothing else can. About how a person can convince themselves, morning after morning, shot after shot, that they are still who they used to be, still capable, still in control, when everything around them is screaming otherwise. It is also a story about a system that trusted one man completely, and built no backup. No morning breathalyzer, no check-in, no second layer. Just a keypad and a signature and an assumption. An assumption that the person behind the wheel would always choose the children first. Most of the time, that assumption is correct. This time, it was not. Maya Henderson is 8 years old now. She still asks her mother every morning, "What if the driver is sick?" She learned at 7 years old that the people trusted to protect you are also human. That they carry things you cannot see. That the warm familiar face waving hello from the driver's seat might be fighting a battle no one knows about. She should not have had to learn that at 7. None of those 19 children should have had to learn it at all. Marcus Holloway will be eligible for parole in 2029. He will be 57 years old. The route he drove for 22 years continues every morning at 6:15, with a different driver behind the wheel. Denise is in remission. He is not there to see it,